It's the Coach's Kingdom. I'm your host, Rob Strano, and I've got four of the best coaches from all over the country. Yeah, we've got East, we've got West, we got North, we got South, we got the country covered, and I got them here to help your game with some great stuff. Let's introduce our coaches. We're going to go East first. Yes, we're going to go up there with King George Connor, the Grand Poobah of the East Coast. George, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
There you go, George Connor. Now let's jump out to the West Coast. Yeah, we got the cool dude. We got the surfer guy. One of the greatest coaches out on the West Coast, Sean Lanyi. Sean, welcome to Coach's Kingdom.
Hey, guys. Happy Masters Week.
Now, let's dump down to the South. Yeah, the deep South. This guy is a legend. He won on the PGA Tour. He owns the state of Texas when it comes to golf instruction. He is our Jedi Master. Yes, David Ogrin. Ogiwan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Rob. You?
Yep, we're doing great. Great to have you. Last but not least, he's our sage. He's our North guy. He's up in Chicago. He's potato, but we know him as David Impisatao, the professor. David, how you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Here we go. What we've got here is we've got a bunch of questions for you guys. Hot potato, like I said, we're going to go quick. These are issues. These are coaching things. These are things players want to know to get better. So here we go. Ready? Issue number one. What is something you are commonly fixing in a first lesson with a new student? Ogiwan, go.
Grip. Got to get a right grip on the club so that you can hit a draw. A lot of people come with what I call the butterfly grip. Looks kind of, well, the hands are turned opposite. So grip.
Grip. So Ogies go with grip. Land the man out there. Sean, what do you got? First lesson.
I would tell you this, hand position, wrist structure, club control, they have to know exactly how to move the club up and down. And quite frankly, I may select to get it completely away from a grip change because I need them to control the golf club and understand how a motion's made. And then eventually we'll actually get those hands on the golf club in a better fashion so they can control the face in a higher efficiently motion that they're trying to ingrain.
Okay, Professor David Impisatao, what do you got? First lesson.
I'm going to go posture and grip. Same thing as Ogie. Posture and grip.
Any specific things with posture or grip that you're always looking for?
I'm looking for center line balance on a player. I want him to come in and look halfway decent and athletic, just like in any other sport. When I set up an athlete, I want to see him to understand, the proper posture, and we call it center line balance. And we take him through it, and it could take a full lesson to get him there.
Okay, King George, what do you got?
I'm going to be a little bit more like Sean, and I think really the first thing that a golfer needs to understand or needs to overcome is how am I going to get the ball in the air? You're going to see a lot of beginners scooping it, lifting it, just teaching them that a little bit of shaft lean, get that club to go ahead and strike the ground after the ball. Start seeing the ball go up that way. I think that's a very important thing to get to a student early on.
Good, great stuff. I seem to be correcting a lot of open shoulders. A lot of players are slicing it. Their shoulders are open. That seems to be a reoccurring theme in a first lesson. Okay, issue number two. Here we go. You get to ask Tiger one question. What do you ask him? George, go.
One of the things I would be curious to ask him is, and maybe you guys know the answer to this, so we don't have to bother calling him because I know, Rob, you got his number. But was his intention, did he state that he wanted to break Jack's record, or did the media start to follow that? Because in my opinion, Tiger doesn't play golf to break records. I see Tiger as a guy who's just always going to see if he can get the best out of himself and how that fares against Jack's record or something else. So I'd want to know if his intention was to break Tiger's record, or was that the golf media trying to create that race, if you will.
Nice, good one. Land the man, what do you got?
Honestly, I'm intrigued with his Sam Putt Lab stroke data because I have Sam here. We're getting gears in here at our new facility, and I have studied his stroke, and I know how much he works on his right hand only putting stroke. So does he really like the feel? Does he really like the authenticity of a slight in to out path with a little bit of toe contact? And I think that's probably why all the experimental putters probably didn't work for him. But, tried and true as his career's gone through the years, is that still something that he really does feel like his path of his putter head still moves a little in to out, and he still tries to make a little bit of toe contact as he rolls the face of the ball. Big difference between feel and real, but, you know, again, I'd like to get his perspective on that.
Ogi-Wan.
I would ask him honestly if he regrets leaving Butch.
Good question.
Great
I would have
question.
thought you were going to ask him if, when you beat him, if it, you know, affected his career in any way.
You got to remember that I beat him between his wins, number 1 and number 2. So I think his career was pretty well rolling. Seriously, though, I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows what happened between Tiger and Butch. But nobody played the game better than Tiger did during the Butch years. Nobody, not even Mr. Nicklaus, played the game better.
Hands down.
With that said, does he regret leaving anybody when he left them? I don't know, but I would ask him again, if he had to do it over again, would he stay with Butch?
That's a
going?
great question to ask him, Professor.
I would ask him, would you coach your son differently than your dad coached you?
Ooh,
Great question.
I would like to know if he would say, no, I'm going to coach him exactly the same. I'm going to bring him up exactly the same, or I have a whole different way of looking at the situation based on my success and my failures. I think that I would love to hear his answer to that.
That's a good one. What do you think? Do you think he would do something different than he did, his dad did with him?
We were talking about it today. I think he would say, I think my dad did a great job, and leave it at that. I don't think he would get into too much detail about it, but I think that would be a good question.
Gotcha, good one. Okay, next issue. Oh, geez. Really, guys? Really? They taped a note to my note card. It says, do you have dogs playing golf artwork? Really? My crew, do you have dogs playing golf artwork? Answer the question. Do you have dogs playing golf artwork, guys? Anybody?
I have a dog.
You have a dog. You have Ranger the range dog.
I've got Ranger the range dog. Might be the best $700 I've ever spent on a promotional item for my range.
That's true, but obviously no one there has any dogs playing golf artwork, right? No.
Nope.
No.
Boy, I would.
Playing poker, that's different. But
That's different.
Not golf.
See, I had a feeling one of y'all had dogs playing something artwork, and George, you were my bet. In your basement up there in the cold north, you have some sort of crazy artwork like that. Okay, issue number 3. Ready? And it's a PSA. It's a putting service announcement. If you were a new player in golf, whose putting would you copy, and why would you copy it? Now, there's a part 2 to this that you can't answer. So if you're going to copy another player, you can't copy Tiger. Who you copying, Sean?
I like Justin Thomas. It's repeatable. It's efficient. His caddy's a recent client of mine, and he's learning aim point. He's learning how to make decisions based off of his heels versus of his old school eyes. So he's learning how to use aim point. He's learning how to use his feet to feel the slope. I like Justin Thomas. I like his posture. I like his grip. I like his stroke, his stroke dynamics. He controls speed beautifully. I'd go with him.
Nice. That's a good answer. Let's go with George. Go. What do you got?
I'd go with Ben Crenshaw. Certainly results are fantastic, but the free flowing of that stroke, to me, it would be adaptable in any condition on any putt, under pressure, really nothing breaking down. It's kind of like artwork when you watch that stroke. So I'd try to copy
Poetry.
Gotcha. There's a good word.
much so,
Poetry, artwork. Love that. He was great at his craft. Professor, what do you got? Who you copying if you got to copy a stroke?
I take Billy Mayfair. No, I'm just kidding. I take Brad Faxon. I'll take Faxon. I think when you study his time, like repeatable time, it's amazing how consistent he is in his stroke to repeat the time over and over and over. And I just like watching that.
Gotcha. That's a good one. The timing of his stroke, all that. And that goes with that artwork and free flowing we just mentioned. Okay, Ogi-Wan, David Ogrin, what do you got? Who you going to copy?
Well, if you're going to copy somebody who's actually made some putts at some times in some big spots. And I'm going to go a little bit old school. I'm going to go with Jack W. Nicklaus. But also in that category, it would be Arnold Palmer and Billy Casper and all those guys. And they all did something in common. They got their eyes and head pretty much all the way over so that the back of their head was flat with the ground. And so you can do everything everybody else has said. And once you get your eyes kind of over more, stuff works out easier in sight and in stroke.
Those are some great players there. So all of you out there, you've heard Nicholas, you've heard Faxon, you've heard Crenshaw, you've heard Justin Thomas. We've kind of covered a bunch of the modern putters to help your game. Now, stay tuned here in Kingdom Coaches. We're going to come back with some more issues to help your game. So you don't want to miss what we got coming up next.
My mom actually was a nurse at St. Jude. She would come home and tell us the stories of all the children that she got to work with on a daily basis. We were taught and raised that we all exist here on this planet to benefit others. That's how my wife and I feel when we give to St. Jude every month. Our giving is right up there with our mortgage. That's the priority that we put on giving to St. Jude.
This is the PGA Tour Vault. Stories and photos covering nearly a century of the greatest individual game in sport. Incredible tales from tee to green and off the course too. The players, the courses, the champions, the legends. An epic project brought to life in an unmatched grand scale. Thousands of high-resolution images. More than half of the photos have not been previously published. From Vault Media Group. Now, the magic of these stunning publications comes to the PGA Tour, a groundbreaking living book that celebrates the PGA Tour. It features the players, from Hall of Famers to current stars, and spotlights the tour's commitment to charity and also benefits the first tee. This is a once-in-a-generation experience.
Welcome back to Coach's Kingdom. Yes, it's me and four of the greats in coaching right now. It's the Professor, it's Lan the Man, it's King George, and Ogie Wan. We're going to tackle some more issues, and we're going to tackle a hot button one right now. You ready, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. The 17th hole at the stadium course. They had a little rough go of it a while back, and Brandel Chambly made a big deal out of it. He said they got to blow it up and start over. A lot of us said can't keep it and don't blow it up. What's your opinion? Sean, do we blow it up or do we keep it? Go.
I don't see anything wrong with that golf hole. It's one of those unique opportunities. If the wind blows, if it's raining, if it's perfect conditions and firm, like the player flat out has to actually game it and hit a golf shot. Keep it as is. Don't do anything to it.
Love that answer. That's a good one. George, go.
I'm with Sean. I think it's unique, it's rare, it's recognizable around the world. You put that picture anywhere, and everybody who's watched any kind of golf knows where they are. And yeah, the whatever round that was, this 2.5 round or the third round or whatever, it was brutal. But I just think it's a great hole, and I would never change it. Never change it.
Okay, Professor.
Entertainment. It was the best entertainment you could see besides the Phoenix, the Waste Management 16th hole.
True.
So, it's nice to watch that. There's a lot of excitement there, and I mean I think the players, that might be the most nervous or the most intense you'll see them come into a hole with that much wind. So it engaged us very. I think it's great for entertainment.
Absolutely. Now our legend, our PGA Tour winner. I have a feeling David Ogrin's played this hole with all the people there. Ogie, talk to us about the 17th at the stadium course.
Rob, I don't know how many holes there are on tour that capture the player's full attention. Like, you got to have all your faculties about you when you play the hole. 17 at TPC does. Is it fair? Great question. If it's a gap wedge, yeah, it's fair. If it was a 7-iron or a 6-iron, kind of like Pete Dye, I think, wanted to make it at first, it would have been a little bit too much. But I've never seen anybody happier playing golf than the group that I was with on the next to last hole at Q School in 1982 when we all got it on land. It was, we were so happy when we all got it on land.
What year was that?
1982.
Right when it basically opened. That was when it was fresh and hadn't made its reputation yet. So has everybody played this hole?
Yes.
Everybody's played it. Gotcha. Any good stories?
Hey, Rob, I got a great one for you.
Go ahead, land the man. Go.
My buddy Garrett Callahan, this guy, pilot friend of mine, 10, 12 years ago, we were playing in a rainy, windy day. There's probably 6 people on the golf course. I hit a 9-iron middle of the green, boring 25, 30 feet away from the flag. He proceeds to put 5 balls consecutively in the water. The caddy and I are completely on the ground, losing our shenanigans because he literally is trying to hit the same shot over and over again. And he continues to hit the shot, it flights, and then it falls in the middle of the water. It was comedy.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stories like that. So I agree with you guys. Keep the hole. Keep it. There are only 33 balls in the water out of 144 players. Talk to me when it's a half the field, when you got 70 out of 144, and then maybe we could have a conversation. Hey, another quick question about that hole. If you had a 20 handicapper playing that same day with that same wind with the crowd, what score do they make? Professor, go.
10.
Ogiwan, go.
Bip.
What was that?
Bip.
What's that mean?
Ball in pocket.
Ball in pocket. George, what do they make?
One of 2 ways. They either go Rube, ran out of balls, or they actually make a good score because that hole playing into the wind, if you hit a skanky 7-iron there, it's flighted and the wind would hold it on the green. So I think some people could skull one up there.
Sean, what's he making?
I think a double bogey is kind of par for the course for a higher handicap or an amateur.
Gotcha.
On that golf hole.
My opinion is that you're wrong. You're wrong. He would make a 23. 23 would be the score that a 20 handicapper would make on that hole. Issue number 5. You ready? Issue number 5. Data tells us that a player who scores 90 or above, if they hit it in the sand, it takes them 5 shots to hold the ball. Just hitting it in the bunker, they can hit a good shot, it bounces in the bunker, it's going to take them 5 to hold it. Give us your best sand tip to help that player get the ball out on the first try. Professor, go first.
Weakest left hand you can possibly get on the club and teach them how to use the bounce.
Teach them how to use the bounce. So weaken it, use the bounce. So you're standing there in the bunker with them. How are they doing? What are they doing it with the club?
I get way left, weak left hand, and teach them how to slide the club under the ball. So the left hand, I see too many guys with a strong grip trying to figure out how to, and then the face closes on them, then they dig. And then as soon as I get the left hand under, get it weak, get the weight a little left and teach them how it slides through the sand, it's so easy.
Great tips. I'm sure, Ogiwan, you've given a few tips and pro-ams to players out of the sand. What are you helping them do here?
When you put in the aspect of pro-am or that really fast idea, splash the sand. You got to hit the sand. You got to learn how to hit the sand. And so a lot of times when I actually give a bunker lesson, the first half of the bunker lesson is just getting them to hit the sand. And like David said, get that right splash thing going.
Very good. George, King George, what is it?
I'm going to keep it as easy as possible, certainly for a player that's in that scoring range. So we're going to forget about opening the stance and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to have them set up to a spot that's 4 inches behind the ball, spin the club in their hand so it's about 30 degrees open. The face is there, that's 12 o'clock. Get the leading edge to 1 o'clock. Look at the spot 4 inches behind the ball. Go ahead and just take that spot and try to get 4 inches out in front of where the ball was. So just like an 8-inch divot. But to me, a square stance makes things just a heck of a lot easier for somebody at that scoring range who certainly, when they're in the bunker, the blood pressure goes up and they're nervous. And now they're changing their stance. They don't know where the ball is. If the ball comes out, they don't know where it's going to go. So just keeping it really simple, doing it that way. And you know what? As they get better and better and better, it's pretty rare that I tell a player, okay, now, at this point now you need to open your stance. You can do a lot of good things from just a nice parallel square stance.
And yet you still see a lot of instruction in books and stuff talk about open and open. That's great stuff to help them there. Sean, what is it?
Well, not to contradict what George just brought up, but the fundamental understanding or misunderstanding of the concept in a bunker shot up in the Northwest, California, we don't really have the fluffiest of sand. We have like hard pan. Even when I get down to Mexico and Hawaii, there's a lot of hard pan. So to take the 4 inches before and after, love that concept. So the player understands how to use the bounce, but I'll get a player to feel and realize that there's sand under the ball. And by learning how to hit the sand under the ball is going to steepen their angle of attack. It's going to allow them to actually properly use the actual club to dig, to ski and glide and bounce through the sand. But I have to understand that most people are going to have maybe a little skewed misunderstanding of the fundamental approach and how to hit the shot. So I got to clear the air, simplify their mindset, and then we can kind of get into all these great traits that these wonderful coaches just educated us on.
That's awesome. Great stuff. Once again, great tips to help you get the ball out of the bunker on the first try. Now, we're coming back with our mystery question from one of our coaches. You don't want to miss that when we get back here with Kingdom Coaches.
Paul McAllister is off to a big start.
Are you the old pro?
Well, I am old. How do you see yourself? Not just in golf, but your whole existence, your life.
I have a son who hates me, and my wife and I have been separated for about 5 years.
Sounds like your game could use a mulligan. Sometimes God uses seemingly bad things for good.
I'm not sure I like his methods.
It's about believing.
Welcome back to Coach's Kingdom, and it's time for our mystery question. Yes, one of these guys is going to get to ask me and everybody else a question, and I've got their pictures here, and we're going to mix them up, and we're going to get to see who gets to ask the question, and it is going to be right there. It is David Ogrin. Ogiwan, what is your mystery question? It's your big moment here. What do you got for us?
My mystery question is, Rob, where do you see instruction going in the next 5 years?
Well, so me, George, Professor, Land the Man, we got a shot at it here. So I'm going to go ahead and take where is instruction going in the next few years. I think instruction is going a lot more tech heavy. We got this new Sportsbox AI tech that I use all the time that I take 2D video, it gives me 3D data. It is the coolest thing I ever have used. It's on my phone and I can show players right away, hey, you got this much hip turn, this much shoulder turn, and their video's right with it, and it's them, and it's objective. We're not guessing anymore. So I think instruction is going to start eliminating guessing, and we're going to have a lot of stuff that we can just factually show the player, and it helps them. What I'm learning is it helps them take their feels and understand what they feel isn't real, we say, but it helps them understand what they may be feeling that's not real is this instead of that. And then they can go, oh, that's why it's going right. I thought that swing made it go left. No, that feel makes it go to the right. Take it away, Professor.
I would be in agreement with you. I think, though, as golf coaches, and we've all been very fortunate and blessed, but our accountability levels are going to go up based on the technical advancements in our fields. So when a student comes to us, you know, his expectations are going to be higher. He's going to look for results quicker. And based on the technology and what we have in front of us, we should be able to give him that if we keep up on our teaching methods and just set goals for ourselves as teachers. And I think you're 100% correct. I mean, I wouldn't overtrain juniors, you know, let them enjoy the game, I think, and advance the ones that you think can be advanced and let the other ones just enjoy the game to keep them in the sport. So that would be my advice.
Take it, George.
I'm going to go a different way, and I'm going to say, to answer David's question, where I'd like and where I hope it goes is it becomes much more performance based than technical. So all the technical stuff, the swing box and the 3D motion and putt lab and everything, that's all fantastic stuff. But what I'd like to see golf instruction moved to is a much better job of tracking around a golf where, to Im's point of the players have higher expectations, making a golf swing better for somebody who's shooting 90, you can make the golf swing, mechanically a lot better, but those scores aren't going to change that much. And a good job of keeping track of stats and where are we wasting shots. How many guys are going to come to any of us and say, oh, well, I'm shooting these scores, and you just, I don't know, just randomly ask them, how many greenside bunkers might you hitting around? And they'll say, oh, I have a lot of bunkers in my course. I play in Florida. I'm in 3 or 4 bunkers around. Well, they want to work on, hitting 7-irons, but according to Rob, your stat, you might be able to save that player 15 shots by just being able to get the ball up and down in 3 out of a bunker. So I would definitely want to see, and the way I'm moving a lot of my coaching is more to let's break the game down into 4 or 5 categories and let's go after the low hanging fruit. But I need stats from the golf course to do that.
Gotcha. Land the man, close us down. What's your thing?
Honestly, 2 words: tendencies and trends. A player has to understand when they step foot and they're trying to work towards short-term planning, towards their long-term improvement process. They have to understand in a coaching session, on the practice range before a tournament or casual round of golf, and then during their time that they're playing, they have to understand what their swing, their game produces. So what are the tendencies for the players? They have to know that. What are their trends of ball flights, and how do they control the outcomes as well as the emotional wear and tear that golf has on ourselves? Because at the end of the day, it's a matter of controlling the moment that the player is in. So that's kind of where I leave it at that.
That's awesome. And coaches, this has been great. Our Coaches Kingdom, we've gone east, west, north, south to help everybody's game. This has been fabulous. All these coaches, George Connor, David Ogrin, David Impisatao, Sean Lanyi, they've all got websites. Get out there. There's this thing called Google. Go find them. If they're in your region, make the trip. You won't be disappointed. They will help your game. Guys, thanks for being with me here in the Coaches Kingdom.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
Well, if you're an Avengers fan, you know what's going on here. A little bonus. Question number 7. So guys, question. What is your golf superstition? Your golf superstition. Take it away, Professor.
If I'm marking with a coin, heads up.
Heads up. George Connor.
3 tees in my right-hand pocket at all times.
Land the man.
Ooh, I only have 1 ball marker that I use, and I have 122 of them. And I can only use the one if I'm actually thinking I'm going to play well.
That's funny. Ogi-wan, what's your superstition?
My superstition is once you get to play inside the ropes at Augusta, keep breathing.
Good one. Mine is right-hand pocket, 3 tees. I have a St. Louis quarter from when they made the quarters. I got a gateway arch up, and I carry 1 penny, and that penny's from the year I was born, 1964. Once again, thanks for joining us in Coach's Kingdom.